guys! So I'm trying to make this video as quick as I possibly can, but this is my May TBR, which just consists of readathon TBRs. That is all this is, besides one book that I'm choosing to read during the readathons, sort of, because I have to read it for school, so that's the only reason it's on here. So I have many books because I want to participate in 3 readathons. One of them is a readathon that I have actually created and I host, and I'll be announcing the challenges in this video as well as my TBR. So if you want to skip to just the weekendathon part because you want to know what the dates are, I will put a time thing down below of what time the weekendathon announcements and challenges and stuff are. I'll be taking through my TBR as I read through the challenges and stuff, but weekendathon's like the last one. The first readathon I want to participate in takes place at the beginning of the month, and that is a yearathon, which is rereads. So I have about 7 books because it takes place over 7 days, although it's completely over ambitious because I'm busy, but we are going to try because it's rereads, and I feel like this is kind of like, okay, I've already read this book before, I know how entertaining it is, I know how long it would typically take me. So the first book that I really want to reread this month is Rebel Belle by Rachel Hawkins. I read the first 2 books in this series, and I own the last book. It's been on my shelf for a year, and that was like my most anticipated release of 2016, and I still haven't read it. I've heard mixed things. I've heard some people say it is great and it was a great conclusion, and other people say it was horrible and it was a letdown. So I don't know what to think. I really liked Rebel Belle. I think Miss Mayhem wasn't as good. I agree that it was a bridge book, but I actually didn't mind it. I actually liked it probably more than most people did, but like I cried at the end. But I really want to reread Rebel Belle and just get back into the storyline so I can finish this series, because I need to finish so many series this year because there's too many series I need to finish. So if I tend to feel like it during a readathon, if I want to move on to the next book or something, I will allow myself to do that. So if I want to read Miss Mayhem after, I'll allow myself to do that, but that's not on my TBR. Then I want to reread The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater, which is a part of my favorite series of all time. I haven't read this in a while, and there's been so much that's been happening in the Raven cycle, its fandom and stuff at the moment, that I've just been wanting to reread this because I still haven't finished The Raven King, and it's been like over a year, and I've had that book for over a year. And so I believe it's like time to maybe reread the series and just remind myself of everything that has happened, because I binge read the first 3 books in this series, and then the 4th book, I don't know what happened. It was really good. There was nothing wrong with it. I absolutely loved it, but I don't know what happened. I have no idea. So that's apparently, like, once you finish The Raven King, everything changes, but I haven't finished The Raven King yet. So I read the first 2 books, so I feel like the first time I read this, I didn't really like it that much. So I'm gonna try and see if my opinions change rereading it, what will happen. I mean, it's part of one of my favorite series, so we will see. The next book I want to reread is Dune by Carrie Corp and Lori Langdon. I love this book. I loved the 2nd book a lot better, but I have been on and off the 3rd book, and I want to finish the series, although I love it and I want to come to end, but I need to finish it. So it's been like over a year since I read Dune and Destined for Dune, and I've just been trying to read Chase of Dune for the longest time. So I just think I need to reread this whole series. So I'm going to start with the first book again and try to reread it. Then I really want to reread is Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson. This is my favorite book of all time, and I've only read it once. And I really miss this book because I just haven't read it in so long. And I really want to read it, so I have it and I want to read it as soon as I can. The next book I have is Fangirl by Rimbaud Rao, but I really love this book and I just want to go back to it and remember everything because I loved it so much, and so I want to give it and read it again. So yeah. The next book I have, and I want to like binge read the series probably this month, is Shatter Me by Tahira Mafi. Now I recently, the reason, like, I feel like I've just been now like suddenly put back in the mood. I reread this a year ago. I seem to read this like every year now. I read this a year ago. I reread it a year ago. I read it for the first time I think 2 years ago. And I keep not moving on to the 2nd book. I don't know what it is, but I like get like 50 pages or something in the 2nd book and then I just quit. So I need to reread this again. I remember really loving it the 2nd time, and I think I'm gonna love it and stuff. And they just announced there's gonna be 3 more books added onto the trilogy. I thought it was finished. It's not. More is gonna happen, and I mean, I don't mind it, honestly. I like if the Raven, well, actually, the Raven Boys is technically, it's kind of continuing with the spin-off series. It's about my favorite character. So I mean, I'm good with that. Like honestly, if it's like still with the same characters and stuff. I didn't read the synopsis because I didn't want to get spoiled. I mean, when this election got more books, I was excited, but I never finished the series. I own the air. Haven't finished it yet, but I want to reread this and then like just binge read, unravel me, and ignite me, and finish the series finally. Actually, it won't be finished because then Restore will come out and I'll be like, okay. Which doesn't come out for like a year, but I mean, I'm going to read it and love it. I know I can love it again because I always love it. The last book I want to reread is Legend by Marie Lu. I read this a year ago, and it'll be 2 years once December hits. I think December. Yeah, it was December. I loved this book, and the only reason I quit was because I got into the second book and I'm like, nope. And I need some more motivation. So I'm going to reread this book and hopefully read Prodigy and Champion, although you kind of know what happens in the end, so I just haven't been motivated, but I really want to because I really liked it. And we'll see if my opinions change. I don't know. We'll see what happens. It was really good first book, so yeah. So that is my TBR for a year-a-thon. Now we are moving on to about to books 19.0, I think. So this is just kind of a free thing. There's not really a challenge or anything like that. So the first book I'm just going to quickly mention. This is not necessarily on TBR, but that is And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. It's weird how I've been hearing so much more about this ever since I started reading it. I'm reading this book for school, and everyone seems to love this book, and everyone seems to love Agatha Christie. I didn't realize how popular she was. Like, I was watching one of Books and Lala's videos, and then there was a comment, and it said, to read And Then There Were None, and I'm like, I'm reading that book for school, and they're like, you have some pretty awesome t-shirts. Then I have P.S. I Like You by Casey West. I haven't read a Casey West book in a year, and I love her books, and I want to read all of her books. And she has this one out, and then she has By Your Side, which I own, and then she has Lucky in Love coming out in a couple months here soon, which I'm really excited about. And I just need to read this book and then read By Your Side. I'm really excited. I've heard this is her best book. Everyone keeps saying this is her best book. My favorite still is Distance Between Us, but apparently people are saying this is her best book, so we'll see how it goes. But it sounds very interesting, and I've been anticipating this book for a long time, and it's one of my most anticipated lists of last year, so I haven't read it. I don't know why, but I'm going to. Then I have Someone Like You by Sarah Dessen. I have finally jumped on the Sarah Dessen bandwagon. It just finally happened. I read that summer. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars, which I really liked it, actually. I wrote a review, but then it got deleted, so, not because, something that happened. I am, for now and forever, going to write my review doesn't work. Because I was really annoyed when it just disappeared, and didn't work, and it was really annoying, and I didn't want to rewrite it. So, I want to read Someone Like You. Yeah. I want to read, I liked that summer. I gave 3 out of 5 stars, but, which sounds like I hated it. But there's some problems I had with it, but otherwise I really liked her writing, and so I've heard her books get better and better and better. So I want to binge read all of her books, and I want to read them all in order. So Someone Like You is the next one, and there's a movie for this combination of that summer and Someone Like You, which sounds really weird. And I saw the trailer, and I'm like, oh my goodness, they're messing everything up. But it's probably because I haven't read Someone Like You yet. So, and it's a combination of the two. So we'll see how I feel about the movie too. So I can watch the movie after. The next book I really, really want to get to is The Siren by Kiara Cass. The original Siren is one of my favorite books of all time, and this is completely different, but I got the first 100 pages, and then I just quit. I don't know why, I just did, and I was probably because she was just not hanging out with them keenly, and I'm like, why? I'm probably still going to prefer the original version, because I've heard this is completely different, but, I mean, you don't really get, The Siren's one of my favorite books of all time, so, I mean, you don't really get to reread your favorite book over again, and really, that's completely different, but, I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see how I feel about it. I hope it's good. I hope I like it. This is probably a bad choice for the readathon because it looks humongous, how huge. It's 500 pages. Oh my gosh, this is probably a bad idea. But I wanted to read it because everyone seems to love it. And that's Passenger by Alexandra Bracken. And everyone keeps talking about The Darkest Minds, which I haven't read yet. I want to read it. And people keep talking about, like, and then there's the sequel that came out like a couple months ago. And so, and it's the final book, so I can read both if I really want to. But I really want to get to it because it's just been sitting on my shelf just staring at me. It's like, read me. And I'm like, I want to, but I haven't. So, hopefully I get to this, and if I like it, then I can pick up The Darkest Minds as well, which I definitely have plans to read. And I hear about the TV show, I think it's a TV show, or a movie, one of the two, and I'm like, getting excited, so. Then I want to read Emily and the New Moon by L.M. Montgomery. I've owned this book for 3 years. I got it from my best friend, and so I want to read it, obviously. Then I want to read Popular by Maya Van Wagner. I recommended this to my family. I hadn't read it yet, but I heard it was interesting. It's actually the only nonfiction that I've like ever really wanted to read, because it like, I feel like it's an interesting plot line. It's about this girl who, keep on, it's a little real. It's about this girl, she finds this How to Be Popular book from the 50s, and she decides to do everything that it says in that book, and that just sounds like fun, and the sounds interesting, especially since like the girl's around my age, I think, in the book, so there she is. And the last book for About a Books that I want to read is Angel Eyes by Shannon Dittamore. I started this during Readorama, and then I didn't finish it, and I felt bad about it. I only uploaded like day 1. I got to like chapter 11, but I got like 100 pages in, and it was really hard to get through, but I feel like it's gonna get faster as the book goes on, so hopefully it does get faster. And yeah, so now moving on to Weekendathon. So the first challenge is to read a book with your name on the cover. So this could be like, for example, like Emily and the New Moon, where like my name was like in the title, or it could be the author's name, you and the author share the same name. For this, I chose The Love That Split the World by Emily Henry. I've heard very mixed things about this. I've heard that some people love it, and some people find it very problematic and don't like it. And I really want to be one of those people who love it, because it reminds me of this book that I read on Wattpad that's actually getting published. But it sounds slightly similar, but it might be completely different, and then I'm like, oh, okay. Challenge number 2 is to read a book that takes place in a short amount of time. So this is kind of a hard question for me, because I'm like, okay, what takes place in a short amount of time on that bookshelf? And I wasn't sure, so I went with The Titan's Curse by Rick Riordan, because I believe this just still takes place over like winter break. The next challenge is to read a book that has been sitting on your shelf the longest, so the book that you've owned the longest and have not read yet. For me, that is Trading Secrets by Melanie Carlson. I have never read a Melanie Carlson book, but I own like 5 of her books, and she's like 200, so at least I don't own all 200. So I just need to get to this. I started reading it like a while ago, and then I really liked it, and then I just didn't finish it. It has a really interesting plot line, so. And the last challenge is to read a book that was published either this year or last year, because there's so many debuts, so it might not necessarily have a debut. I do have one from this year, but I decided to go with one from last year. And that is The Forbidden Wish by Jessica Cahorny. I have been dying to read this book. I got like 100 pages into it, and then I just kept putting it down for no reason because it was so good. And then I just never finished it, so I'm gonna finally finish it. And there you have it. So just a reminder, the Weekendathon Challenges. It takes place from the 19th to the 22nd, by the way, over the long weekend. So if you're ever wondering for the dates, it's always like just like I don't know if it's different in America or any other country, but it takes place from the Canadian long weekend in May and August and September. So if you ever need to know the dates, those are always the dates. The challenges: read a book with your name on the cover, a book that takes place in a short amount of time, a book that has been sitting on your shelf the longest, and a book published either this year or last year. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. It was a very, very long TBR. It was just all my Readathon TBRs. So I hope you guys liked it. If you did, be sure to give it a big fat thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more, and click on that little bell to notify you when I post new videos so you can see more of the celebrity face. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!